Hello, everyone. I'm Allison Steinberg, and welcome to In Focus. GOP chair of the House Intelligence Committee, Mike Turner, incited confusion when he announced a serious national security threat that was so dangerous it needed to be declassified immediately. Various members of the House, including Democrats, said it was a nothing burger and began to question the timing of his announcement. It came right as Speaker Johnson declared that the despicable $95 billion foreign aid bill to give $60 billion to Ukraine was dead on arrival. And right before a vote on the renewal of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA. Yeah, seems a tad bit sus. So, to amp up the fear factor, the classified intel was leaked to the media, who are reporting that Russia has military capabilities related to its efforts to deploy a nuclear anti-satellite system in space. Panicked yet? Does that make you want the House to get that money to Ukraine pronto? Does it make you want to give up even more of your rights to privacy and speech out of fear? Because clearly, that's the play. Maybe Turner didn't think we would see his posts on X of his recent visit to Ukraine, in which he and some Democrats met with Zelensky and discussed giving them the resources they need. In other words, our money. Yeah, we see what you did there. As for the FISA Authorization Act, there was a vote scheduled for today on its renewal, as it is set to expire April 19th. Thomas Massey's leading a group of House conservatives vowing to stop the continued abuse of Americans with these warrantless searches. Some House conservatives are pushing for an amendment that would require the FBI to obtain a warrant before conducting searches using FISA. This act doesn't need reform, but to be ended along with all the other means the surveillance state uses to strip us of our constitutional rights under the false guise of national security threats, like the one pumped up by Mike Turner. Here to discuss is John W. Whitehead, constitutional attorney, president of the Rutherford Institute, and author of Battlefield America, The War on the American People. John, thank you so much for being with us today. It's great to have you on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Of course. Well, John, I think it's a tired tactic at this point, the establishment using fear to trap Americans into giving up our rights. But I think that's obviously what Turner and the surveillance state were doing with the latest threat here. What are your thoughts on all this?
The government, the federal government, for many, many years has been conducting so much surveillance on us. And now that we've been working with all the big groups like Google and Amazon and Facebook collected into a corporate state, basically. They're corporate partners. Wherever you move or whatever you do, whatever you think, they're watching now. With 1 billion surveillance cameras worldwide, 51 million surveillance cameras in the United States, collecting information when we walk along the streets. You know, the average American is caught on camera, a couple hundred times a week now. Yeah. If you're out anywhere you're at. And the FBI has come forward now, they've been caught saying that they can turn on your cell phone now when it's off and it becomes a listening device. They can turn your laptop on and it becomes a watching device. So this is the kind of thing that we have to be really careful of and not trust the government. The fellow who wrote our Bill of Rights, including the essential Fourth Amendment, which is says the government should have probable cause before they watch anything we do, and if they're going to invade our home or whatever, they should have a search warrant. Well, the scary thing here is, and people don't realize it, you haven't watched what's been going on for many years now. Under the U.S. Patriot Act, which was passed right after 9/11, it gave the government the power to do sneak and peek searches of your home, to follow all your telephone calls and everything like that. So they've been doing this and collecting information on us. And technology's moved so fast now that the police have an app called Shadow Dragon, where it used to take 30 days or so to collect all the information on the internet about you. They can do it in 30 minutes to an hour now. And we see these crazy SWAT team raids now, where FBI is now doing SWAT team raids on veterans, because if you're a veteran today, that's one signal that you could be a domestic extremist. And we've helped some of these veterans, by the way, who have seen the FBI and the police show up together at their home just because they make a so-called threatening statement on the internet. So we're in a state right now where if we don't put a stop to basically this, there's going to be no hope for freedom. We're going to be completely in my opinion, controlled. And Elon Musk has said it. Basically, we're moving to a sort of a electronic concentration camp that we will not be able to escape from.
Yeah, it does seem that is the trajectory for our nation, which is terrifying, should alarm everyone. Also alarming that more people aren't doing more to put an end to this. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene posted on X, quote, "Perhaps the greatest threat is the federal government that has become so powerful over the people that it leaks intelligence to the press in order to pressure Congress to make certain votes, protect its own power, to spy on its own citizens, maintain power, and protect its own job security, and most terrifying of all, has become weaponized to crush its political enemies. I'm depending on you to help me stop our greatest national security threat, the one from within." John, what can unelected citizens do to try to put an end to this?
Well, there are some things you can do. We need to know the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights gives local communities the right to nullify acts of the federal government. If we got together our local communities, listen, Washington, D.C. is controlled by money, 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 money. Anybody will tell you that. And the corporate state that's taken over things right now. And the corporate state's very dangerous because they want all this information on it. They share it with the government. When you have people like Google, Amazon, and groups like that maintaining the intelligence cloud for all 17 intelligence agencies, they're getting that information on us and transferring it to the government. I mean, we're calling it, it's like a huge spider web now.
Yeah.
At the center is the government watching everything we're doing out there and trying to control us and arresting us if you say the wrong words. Like I say, some of the cases that we've been involved in the Rutherford Institute, it gets a little bit frightening because if you say the wrong word on the internet that they don't like, they can come to your home and arrest you and take you away. So local communities could push back on this and start saying, we're not going to put up with this anymore. We're going to start canceling. We're going to get these national groups like NSA out of our communities. Groups like the NSA, again, like I say, have been doing it. Edward Snowden said it. They're watching everything. Recently, in an interview he did, he said, I'm shocked at the influence China is having on the United States, where they watch everything we do, it create a social credit score, and label us extremists, and we can be arrested or whatever. So the thing is that and watch what you're doing on the internet. I mean, the average child now is up to teenagers, so 6 hours a day they're on their Facebook account or whatever on their phones. It's become an addiction, but here's the key. The government has a lot of influence on that. They can actually control how you think, what you think, and form opinions. When you see all the things you're saying today, you can't say this word, you can't move this way, whatever. It's because they're indoctrinating the youth. Yeah. And I tell parents restrict cell phone use today because they're indoctrinating now. Yeah. It's not education, it's indoctrination. And listen, here's another thing that really scares me when I'm seeing today when I'm talking to young people coming out of schools, they don't know the Bill of Rights, they don't study them, they don't know you have a First Amendment right to expression, they don't know you have a Fourth Amendment right to privacy. Mm-hmm. Privacy is key. If the government can take away our privacy, we become an entity totally controlled by them.
Yeah, that's so true. And, I think the lack of information, the lacking in the educational system is all by design, right? Because they want a population of weak, uneducated people. It's just so sad. And you're right. I think it's absolutely heading towards the social credit system that you spoke of. So, yeah, we got to fight back now while we still can because our constitutional rights are being stripped away each and every day. More and more, they're chipping away at it. So very scary stuff. It's not the deep state when it involves the president. What are your thoughts on the reports that it was Obama who ordered the spying of Trump and 26 associates?
Well, that may be true, but like I say, you say the president is not the deep. In many ways, the president is the deep state. Most presidents are controlled by people who put them into power. There's no doubt about that. And they listen to those people. And the deep state, by the way, that was a memo that was leaked by the FBI. They said basically there's the seventh floor group that controls the United States government. Well, a study coming out of Princeton University showed that they studied where money congregated in the United States. It's the detailed study and really well done. It shows that 585 billionaires basically rule out of Washington, D.C. because they want your money, they want your control, they want you buying their products, whatever they might be. So it's not to the point where we're treated like human beings anymore, people of worth and dignity. And here's the other thing that's really scary now is that a number of people are talking about it. Professors, technological professors are saying with artificial intelligence now, it's going to start calling the shots in many instances. With Chat GPT, they're writing books, they're writing articles, AI, and in some countries now in China, they're using so-called synthetic beings to give the news. It's gotten to the point where it's gone way beyond us. And I would say here, and I tell people this, and I'm a civil libertarian, I've been fighting this stuff for 50 years, is we got about 10 years left, folks, to get our act together, start changing things in our communities. Washington, D.C. is not going to listen. No. We need to start saying we're just not going to do this anymore. We're not going to put up with your investigating us, sending FBI troops into our communities to do SWAT team raids and stuff like that, and turn America back to local communities again, because like I said, this is a huge spider web. If we don't crawl out of this spider web, they're going to control us. And those who are considered rebels, there'll be people who say, I don't agree with the government, I don't like the government, you're automatically an extremist. Yep. You can wind up getting arrested and taken to jail.
Yeah. That's so true, and we've seen it already happening. So yeah, the time is now to speak up. But as you mentioned, everyone is so addicted to their phones and social media. It's like no one realizes the threat that we're under here, and the move to get us under a full digital footprint for surveillance continues on with each passing day. We get closer and closer to that. In fact, AT&T has now announced it's going to end its phone landlines. This is huge. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, they don't want, they want to be able to collect everything you're saying. And they do, by the way, like I say, with all these surveillance cameras now watching your face, drones now overhead or flying overhead, they can pick up your facial characteristics from 2 miles up. They can listen to you. Your television sets, by the way, some of them are recording exactly what you're saying in front of everything. I had a former FBI agent visit me a couple of years ago. He wanted to meet in my He said, I got to meet with you in a private room. Where's your boardroom? I took him in. He said, is there a landline or a cell phone in here? And I went, no cell phones. He said, landline. He even unhooked the landline.
Wow.
And I said, are you trying to tell me something? He goes, yep. They listen to everything, man. Wow. So even on your landline, this agent told me they can listen to you. So they want a total control. They don't want anybody to rebel. They don't want, listen, the people who wrote our Constitution, they were rebels. They said, we've had enough of this. We're going to fight back. And that's what we need today.
That's right. We sure do. We need another generation of rebels. So fight back now, again, while we still can, because the time is ticking. John Whitehead, we are all out of time for today. Thank you so much for all the great work that you do, and thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Take care.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.